So, we find ourselves where we last left off. You have been fighting an armor and two skeletons that rushed at you. Some of them even tried to push you off the balcony down the spiral staircase. And you're now standing there in this hallway. To your right, there is one big double door that leads somewhere else. An additional door smaller that leads into another room. And to your left is another unopened door. And the door through which the skeleton came, which reveals itself to be some sort of closet.
Well, do we want to maybe check out the double door place? I mean, we could also go to there was a door on the left, right?
Yes. To your immediate left is also a door.
I'd say maybe we can go to the through the double doors first.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what exactly was keeping the skeleton inside those doors.
Inside the closet, you mean?
Closet.
You approach the closet, and as you look inside, there does not appear to be anything special about it. There is a few objects lying about, a bucket or two, a little bit filled with water. You also find some other household objects, some soap, and an additional mop. But nothing unusual.
Can I smell anything in particular? The smell of decay, mold.
As you
water smell, stale.
As you smell, the only smell that really comes to you is this sort of old, dusty smell, and because of that, you assume that. Actually, roll me investigation or perception for that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because of that, you assume that this skeleton has not been here for a long time. This is definitely not where this skeleton died, and it has definitely not been in this closet for a long time. You would say, like, at the most, it has moved here quite recently.
Is there any evidence that it was moved here, like, drag marks on the carpet or something that would indicate that it's been taken there, or does it seem that it got there on its own volition?
Nothing of the like. There is nothing that would tell you either way how exactly the skeleton got there. The only really logical way that would have brought it here is through the door through which you two are currently looking into the closet. There does not appear to be any other way of entering it. There's no windows, there's no other way, it is merely a closet for storing things. And on that, it is also quite cramped. So even it being here, it must have been quite cramped with all the things that are in it.
Okay.
Which would explain why also a broom fell out when it came out.
Wasn't a broom, it was mop.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. I think there were. I think it was a mop.
I think it technically classifies as the same kind of weapon, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's both
that's
a
not.
stick.
All right. I don't get the impression that anything else can be hidden in here. Something.
Oh, there could be a lot of stuff hidden in here in this cramped space. But nothing unusual that you can see right now. It seems to be merely everyday stuff.
Do we want to check out the double door? The one that's to the right? Double doors were to the right, Daniel?
Yes, they were to the right way of the hall. as you enter through the spiral staircase. Speaking about which, Septimus, with that perception roll of yours, you also hear something down the spiral stairway.
What does it sound like?
It sounds like
Movement?
steps, yes, movement.
Does it sound like, very soft steps? Or are they going up or down?
This foot persists a few moments and it sounds like it is coming upwards.
I very quietly move over to the group and I say, Scott, hide.
I would like to go over to the double door, and I would like to try to open it.
Right, the double door is in fact...
Well, one of them.
Yes. As you open it, it does not appear to be locked. Where is everybody else trying to take cover or hide or whatever you are doing in this case?
The skeleton was having hard time hiding in the closet. I don't think Saban really has a chance to hide in there. So I think it's just to be on the safe side to make sure that Brilana doesn't get herself injured. I'm gonna follow her to the double door room.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you open...
No one else is coming with us. I will close the door and press my ear against it.
Yeah, I'm following them.
Alright, so you three are going through the double door. What about Septimus?
He's gonna follow as well.
Alright, so as you hear some noise, you all quietly go over to the double doors, open it, all go in and close it behind you. You find yourself in quite a big room. In it, there is a big, or almost royal-like bed. A mirror, a commode, a table, a bearskin on the floor with a massive fireplace to the left. Above it, a picture depicting, Mr. and Mrs. Dorst. And much more interestingly is to your right, immediately as you enter through the door, is a skeleton. And it will be attacking you now. Roll initiative.
Skeleton, very cool.
To be honest, as you enter this room, it almost sounds like you caught the skeleton with its pants down, because it is all by itself and it does not carry any weapons with it. In fact, the moment you all enter the room all at once, it's sort of looking at your direction, almost as if in shock.
Is it also not wearing any pants?
It is not wearing any pants, no. It is not.
Wearing like something on the top.
It is not wearing anything. It is bones. Bones and only bones.
How
I think we
lewd.
found the maid.
Nice. I mean, honestly, with how many skeletons there are here, I have a feeling this isn't just like housekeeping.
Anyway,
Can we tell if the skeleton is male or female, or should I leave that for later?
that is quite hard to tell, and I think it would require an action to do so.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter.
The person who starts is names. Bass's character.
Person with the
Brilana.
minus one
I'm sorry, it's a new game, all right.
initiative.
You start.
The person with the -1 initiative goes first.
What would you like to do?
She's just the one who first entered the room.
Hey, good point. I'm just gonna cast Frostbite on the skeleton.
All right, go ahead. What do I need to roll for that?
Constitution.
Constitution.
This is like my one attacking cantrip I have.
I'm assuming that its use just failed, so 3 damage.
Yes, and it has disadvantage on the attack rolls.
Right, it does that. Who goes next?
I guess that would be me.
Well, he decides.
Sure,
Yeah,
you
it's
go
Oh,
next.
oh right, he. Oh,
You
right.
can go next, sure.
True.
Go
Well,
for it.
I mean, I do have a few cantrips that can do a good bit of damage. Firebolt
I would just-
mostly.
It's literally just a skeleton. Shoot it.
Dang.
And blammo.
What's it gonna be? A firebolt. 18 to hit? Absolutely, that does hit. So, yeah, it's not looking too great. It really isn't. Right now, it's barely keeping itself together.
Who's gonna go for the finisher?
You know, Septimus can go for the finisher. Let Septimus
Get
go
'em.
for the finisher.
Get 'em.
But I was
It's
last
just-
in initiative.
No, that's not how we you.
So remember.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's
Yeah,
already
decide who goes
forgotten
next.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everybody's already forgotten.
Well, it's a new system.
I did.
he didn't because he actually knows where I stole it from. So,
All right then. In that case, Septimus is gonna swoop ahead. You know, get himself between the girls and the skeleton, and get as close to it as possible, and slash it from the tip of the head until the knees.
That's like his signature move at this point.
sure, go ahead. Roll for it. Oh, you already did. Yes, that heads.
Oh no.
Hmm?
Hold on.
What's up? You just have to click short sword in.
Yeah, something has showed up that doesn't allow me to click it. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Should I do so for you?
No, I want to press it.
All right. The skeleton is quite. I think honestly, it has given up on life. It is just standing there.
He's
Like-
given up on life.
Like as combat science was like, okay, maybe I can do this, but now it is slowly realizing with fireball and frostbite on two sides of its faces and the sword now heading right into its skull that
Hot and cold.
it's not gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
Half and
that's
half.
right.
I mean, that
Nice.
would make it pretty fragile.
Yeah. I mean, fucking head just fucking explodes.
Making it cold and then making it suddenly warm, that makes it very brittle.
Yeah.
That's perfect conditions for shattering a skull.
Yes, Leah, have you figured it out?
Finally it worked. Okay, I'm rolling.
There we go. A piercing damage is enough to kill it. You slice through its skull and it splits apart and the rest of its bone case, ribs and everything fall to the ground.
Can I try to basically throw my cape so the bones don't make much noise when they fall?
Oh, okay. Go ahead and roll me in acrobatics then. You succeed. You throw the cape behind it, and they also go into it. And while there is some noise, you would almost bet your life on that it would probably be very hard to hear from outside of this room. Now you have a cape full of bones. On another side,
Cape now.
you do hear whatever. Now it is much more audible, and everyone can hear it. That footsteps are coming closer.
Does it sound like bone on floor? Does it sound like boots on floor?
Roll me a perception.
Sure. Let me open my sheet. No memento.
Wood on wood or soft tissue on wood.
Or leather on
Click,
wood.
clack. And that's kind of my go with the soft
11.
tissue, basically.
Well, the thing you hear most is the creaking of the steps as it comes up. The same creaking that you also heard when you really walked up. You can't really hear anything more of it because the steps just seem so old. But whatever it is, it seems to have arrived at the top now.
We'd already closed the door behind us.
Yes,
right?
yes, you have.
Okay, good.
And we stealth kill the skull.
yeah. I would like to motion for someone to like listen at the.
The barn steps closer to the door to listen to.
All right.
Is there a keyhole?
There is.
Can I look through the keyhole?
Well, currently Saban is standing in front of the door. You could if...
I mean, I don't need to stand in the middle. I can just stand on it.
Alright, in that case the keyhole is
However,
free. You may look
it-
through it. Give it a use.
They are double doors after all.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. You look through the keyhole, do you?
And you see a red eye.
Ah, fuck.
Sorry.
The police.
As you look through the keyhole,
We are the police.
the first thing you see,
Open up.
the first thing you see is the armor that's down on the ground. You then slowly change your angle a little, and you can see a skeleton standing at the top of the staircase. Just standing there right now. As you try to get a better look at it, you see that it is already looking quite cracked, and suddenly it appears to you that, oh yeah, right, that one skeleton fell down, didn't it? It appears to be the same one.
Oh, he survived.
Can we take it as a pet?
I kind of want him as a pet.
But yeah, right now it seems to be completely inactive as it is just standing there at the end of the stairway, looking confused.
Is it looking at the double doors or out into...
Not really. Right now, it just seems to be standing at the end of the stairway. Going like that.
Hey, I have an idea. How about
Down the stairs.
no, but like sneak attack it.
Two more things.
There's a lot of rogues.
About the room that you're currently in, two more things. There's also a table with some booze on it, some 2 chairs. There's also another door that leads out to a balcony, and another door that leads to a mystery place.
Okay, so Saban and Septimus open the doors, and then we cast our spells at it.
Good idea.
Alright.
Okay.
Septimus has his hand on the door handle and is waiting to basically, open it full force when he's given the signal.
I whisper to Septimus. You go first and strike it. If it isn't dead by then, I will push it down the stairs. Oh, how close is it to the railing? Like, can I push it down there?
Oh, it is right now standing right at the end of the stairs.
So
It will be quite easy to do so, yes.
It's right for the pushing.
Could I
So-
knock you down the railing with my shield?
Probably.
Yes, yes.
Ooh.
I mean, there's something called a push push attack, which is
It's shove.
shove.
Yes, that is exactly what you would do, but
Yeah. So basically, those two open the door. We both cast our cantrips at. Then they rush it.
alright, I'm not gonna make you roll for that since that is a very simplistic way of doing it.
Okay.
Septimus and Saban, you both open both sides of the door. The skeleton is now in your view as its head snaps into your direction, and you start casting your bombardment. Go ahead. Firebolt, and the thing suddenly, as the eyes and the fire melt into one attack, it strikes at the skeleton. It flies backwards over the railing and goes down the spiral staircase again.
Well, if there's any of them still in here, they probably heard
I
that.
don't think it's...
And then you hear the clattering of bones on the floor, yes.
Well,
I think we got him.
I don't think he's
Yeah, I
coming
think
back
so.
again.
Saban starts slowly closing the door again.
Same.
So,
There was a door to a balcony and a door to.
two
somewhere.
you don't know, yes.
What do you mean a door to somewhere we don't know?
Well,
Well, we don't
you're in
know
a
what's
new
behind
room
the
now.
door.
Yes, you don't know what is behind the door.
What
Uh,
seems to be the most recently touched thing in the room?
Oh, in this very room. Ooh.
Do there seem to be any signs of life? Does this room seem to, have a
Okay,
guess?
roll me perception or investigation, whichever you would prefer. Or even survival.
Survival. I'm not even sure I have that. Let's check.
I do.
No.
Well, you
Roll
don't need to
perception.
have it. to-
Everyone has it, really.
You just have proficiency in it or not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I do.
Basically, what I'm
I
saying
would
is
roll
roll
that.
whichever you're best in of those three.
I rolled my best, and look what I rolled.
What? Oh, 6. There's nothing really that stands out to you, but as you look into the corner at which you see the table with some wine and some bottles in there, the wine seems to be opened and some chairs. Next to it is the door that leads to the balcony. In the room, this one seems quite old and quite dusty, more so than any other of the rooms we've seen. There's cobwebs in the corners and everywhere, except in front of the balcony door, where there seems to be some cobwebs recently disturbed. Which could have been the skeleton, but...
So would it be survival or investigation if I were to take a sniff of the wine, and if it smells alright, try a taste of it to see if it's basically gone bad?
Alright, it would be survival or... Why is there no wine tasting skill in D&D?
Honestly,
If this was
a culinary
3.5,
skill,
there
like,
probably was one.
I mean, to be honest, you could use profession cooking in 3.5
Yeah.
in Pathfinder.
Well, I mean, there's probably you could use a tool for it. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say survival or investigation.
Yeah, I'm gonna use survival. Huh.
You are not completely sure? You know, you're smelling it and it doesn't smell all that pleasing, but then you look at the bottle and you're not sure if it's supposed to smell that way or not. It's a little hard to tell.
Take a small sip.
Alright, you take a small sip.
Make a con save.
Yes, precisely, honestly.
Does it taste like vinegar?
Does it taste like death?
Does it taste like
Well,
blood?
there's a difference between vinegar and death.
Yeah, no, you just basically put it down. And, yeah, no, your body does tell you, no, this was probably not meant for the drinking, but you've already drank it, so...
It's already too late.
Yeah, that's been there for a while.
But what you can tell from their constitution save is that must have been a really fine wine before.
Is the cork there?
Sorry?
Is the the cork still there for the bottle?
Yes, there's also a glass there. However, there's no wine in it. But it almost seems as if, like, it was meant to be in there.
Alright, I'm gonna put the cork back in the bottle and put it in my bag.
Alright.
In a bag.
Oh, if Saban still has it, he's just gonna pour the wine on the ground.
No, no.
Alright, you pour the wine on the ground. The wine is now on the ground. And slowly the puddle grows and grows, and eventually also reaches the bones of your dead skeleton friend.
Oh yeah, I pick up my cape now.
Oh yeah. With the bones or without?
Like I try to move them so that they don't make much noise.
On another
Like a
note,
cape up under them.
on another note, now that he's actually standing near the table with the wine bottle, you also notice that, again, there's another one of these small holes in the wall with a bell and everything.
I point it out while picking up my cape and putting it back on me.
I don't think I heard that. What's going on?
There's another one of those holes in the wall.
Another elevator shaft.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. I would like to check out what I assume is some sort of closet.
Alright, you open the door and behold and beware, it is a closet, yes. And in it you find some noble's clothes.
Should have been a divination wizard. I knew it.
No.
Are they like dusty? Are they like torn?
Oh,
What
they're
kind of
quite
condition are they in?
dusty, they're quite dusty. And in fact, it's almost as if, what do you call the insects they've been at it?
I'm
Moths?
gonna close that door.
Yeah. Probably a good call. Good call.
Do we want to check out the balcony?
Before we do that, unless somebody wants to do something, I want to check if I can find maybe a diary or something.
Oh.
Is there a boudoir table with, drawers? Can I check under the pillows of the bed?
Yes. So basically what you have a, what do you call them? Bedside shelf, maybe? There's also a main desk. There's a barrack, but there's of course this really big bed, sort of like a princess bed with the things and all of that. Really royal looking, really well made. So where do you first look?
I would like to check in the boudoir first. The table
Okay.
shelf.
So you go through the drawers and you find multiple things. It has multiple drawers. The first drawer, you find a box which appears to be filled with jewelry. And all of the jewel in there seem to have the same emblem as everything else you found in this house. They're a wolf, the wolf head. In the second drawer, you find a key. Can people hear me? There's no reaction.
Yeah, just like, is Leah doing this? Sorry, is Leah?
Yeah, I want to step in. Saban is heading towards the balcony, so.
Is Leah's screen frozen? There's nothing.
It's just like the loading dots for me.
Okay, right. We seem to have encountered a problem with that.
Okay, well, Saban is heading to the balcony. So.
Excellent. You are opening the door to the balcony. You are now standing on the backside balcony of the house, overlooking a small garden. And
Or light it up in any way.
no, it's not really lighted up. In fact, it is quite hard to see. And you also notice that there's a heavy mist coming closer to the house.
How's the air otherwise?
The air seems to be fine. In fact, you would have expected it to be quite a lot more moist with all the
Yes,
all the mist you
Back.
see.
finally.
Welcome back. What is the last thing you have heard?
The last thing I heard was you check the shelf.
Yes, okay. You found a box of jewelry, each one of them having the emblem of the Durst family in it, the wolf head. And in the second drawer, you find a key.
Okay.
We gotta check out that jewelry.
Does this key still have the emblem of the family on it?
It does not. It is a key, although it does look a bit fancy.
What about the
Sorry, about the what?
yeah? What about the jewelry box?
Well, she has it.
Can I see it?
Septimus hands it over to you.
All right, you now have the jewelry box. What are you looking for?
I would like to open it.
You open the jewelry box. There is jewelry inside.
Nice.
And it seems to be quite fancy jewelry. So, I mean, if you're thinking that way, then yes, absolutely.
You should probably confiscate this, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
This
Saban
is a crime
turns from the Saban turns from the balcony. Confiscate or give it to the kids.
It's a crime scene. It's evidence.
I'll just keep it on me for now. Should I put the jewelry box in my equipment section?
I mean, in your inventory if you want.
That's what I mean.
Everyone else seems to be fine with it.
This could help build a
Saban
fund
is
for the
kind of giving
surviving
some
family
eyes over it,
members.
like, okay, so. Has Brilana ever before confiscated stuff like this?
Not this particularly.
Then again, from the look in her eyes when she opened the jewelry box, you can tell that this seems to have been quite something.
Yeah. Saban also says from the balcony. Well, to make the atmosphere more fitting, there's a mist coming in.
Oh yes,
Yes.
quite a thick mist as well.
Concerning.
What a thick one.
Oh no. This
Almost completely white.
Ben.
Come back
Oh,
in,
oh no.
Septimus says, and he puts the key
Wait.
in his pocket.
Saban takes a look around balcony and the garden and the fog, seeing how fast it's approaching. And,
Well, the fog seems to be taking its time. It's quite slowly creeping closer.
Daniel?
But yes,
I would like to cast Druidcraft to find out the weather. I would like to try to predict the weather.
For the next what?
24 hours.
Let
That
me read
basically
that.
shows me what the weather is gonna be.
Well, it is a golden orb.
The weather's supposed to be clear.
Because this isn't a natural fucking mist. Not natural, right?
I mean,
Bad news.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can really think of.
No.
We tried and
I don't
Maybe
think-
she's just a shitty druid. I mean,
I don't think you understand. This is not a natural mist. People have gone missing in mists like that. I've researched it. It's the reason why I left the academy. This
What?
is bad.
Wait, what?
This is
Not the
bad.
case. Saban slowly
So-
closes the balcony doors. See.
all right.
So, this mist that's surrounding the house, filled with the evil, like, magic people. Okay, this is getting out. You know, this is already getting out of hand. Now it's like getting like exuberantly out of.
Saban,
That's out of hand.
Saban
Rico.
asks Brilla,
perception,
how
please,
long-
Saban, because you're the one who was standing by the balcony.
Yeah, and I took a look around.
As you close the door and you're about to basically turn to the rest of the party, just for a moment, in the corner of your eyes, you think as if you perceive as if the mist started speeding up, coming closer. You look and no, nothing.
Yes, Saban walks away from their door while kind of glancing at it like.
But you can swear as you look back that it was definitely closer than when it was before. It was almost as if jumping at you the moment you looked away.
Is there a candle in the room?
No. The room is completely unlit and dark. And with the portrait of Mr. and Mrs. Dawes, it has a bit of a haunted atmosphere, as the two previous occupants of this room seem to be casting a judging glance over you.
Wait, Daniel, are you trying to say this place is haunted? I can't
What?
believe it. How
Don't
could
put
you say
words in
something
my
like
mouth.
that?
No.
Not looking
Like,
for
come
lit-
on, Daniel.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm looking for
Can I-
unlit
Can I look behind the painting? Sometimes people put valuables behind.
Absolutely. You pick up the painting and look behind it. It seems that no, this one does not have a safe behind it.
I already found one safe behind the painting.
Yeah.
The only
How-
thing
how-
Frame.
The only thing you find is silent judgment by Mrs. Dawes cast upon you. Or at least that's what you feel as if.
Has the feeling of being watched subsided, or is it still there? Bass, are you okay?
Oh, my knee just fucking cracked painfully. Ow.
Oh,
What crap?
damn, I'm sorry.
My knee. Like, the fucking something keeps like every day, every couple of days. My knee, my left knee like cracks really painfully.
You should see a doctor for that.
You feel
Only I was
much
allowed to go outside.
you feel much less on edge than you did before. You don't know if it is because you have killed so many skeletons now that perhaps you just feel a little bit better about yourself and your ability to defend yourself from unknown attackers. But whatever it is, you feel less on edge than you did before. But,
The
Even with the coming mist?
well,
I can
let's say it like that. You don't think the mist is watching you, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Besides, you haven't really seen the mist yourself yet.
Saban does ask Brillana of how long is that forecast? Could it mean that it gets clear tomorrow in the morning?
It's for the next 24 hours, so maybe. But
Might be, but there is. I don't think I've ever seen fog that jumps when you're not looking at it.
I'm also saying it's unnatural. Like, I've been telling you this.
And generally, when it's a fog like this, it doesn't clear up fully within 24 hours. And the spell showed the skies would be clear, which is kind of concerning. I'm not really certain what it really means with this situation. But I mean, like, the whole magic thing, judgment might be right. I don't really know.
Rika, did you leave the academy because of this fog? What do you think this fog is? What have you read?
Well, we didn't learn too much about it, seeing as it was a researched subject, not a. It was something we were working on, mostly my colleague, and then they went out on a trip, to investigate, to research. It's what we do.
Rika! Suddenly, you thought you heard something, but maybe it was nothing.
You're talking to someone who knows the occult in a haunted house, who's fucking conspiracy nut. No, that was not nothing. There's something there. Firebolt the elevator.
It's... Sorry? What?
Firebolt the elevator.
Okay, you fight...
Just jumps
Into the
back
elevator.
because suddenly fireballs.
Yeah, so between you and the elevator is Saban and Septimus. You basically, as Rika is going on about her travels and everything, suddenly she stops for a moment and just goes fireball at the elevator. The fireballs...
Back while Lean, like, expanding his hands to make sure the cape doesn't get on fire.
The fireball strikes
Jumps back
into...
like,
The fireball strikes into the back wall of the elevator and seems to do pretty much nothing, really.
All right.
See something?
There was something. There was something. Right?
Okay.
What would that something be?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had time to research the history of this. So, right?
what? You were telling me about people from your academy researching this fog.
Right. So my colleague went out on a trip, right? Researching the people who disappeared after a thick mist had rolled in. Problem is, time went by and they never came back, even though they were supposed to. And she's suddenly there came a letter from her. Pretty weird letter, by the way. Only really legible thing was so when are you coming, which is pretty weird.
Yes.
So now I've gone out on my own to search the mist, and I found empty towns sometimes, which is really interesting, right? Empty towns.
Whole towns.
Whole towns. Gone.
Okay, is this news to me? Have
Um,
I heard of whole towns going away?
I
Well, small
mean...
towns.
Roll me history.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's easier for you because of, your background. But you have heard of it happening once or twice before, absolutely. While it is rare, it's much more often in smaller, more singled out areas. It has happened before, you've heard, that a larger quantity, even perhaps a town, has disappeared.
This is a bigger threat than expected.
How was the town left after people left it?
They didn't leave. That's the problem.
Well,
They disappeared.
They didn't take
You have to
clothes with
disappear
them.
somewhere, exactly.
No, they didn't take
Valuables,
anything with
clothes.
Septimus is looking at the fog while this conversation is happening.
I have a question.
Yes?
Do we Do we? No, that was an in-character
Ah,
question.
sorry.
Do we think the whole mist thing is like these guys, or is this like a bigger, like, rejuvenation thing?
I think if they were busy killing their own members, knives, I don't think they'd do that.
So this is like bigger thing. Uh huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Vaughn starts taking out his pipe and preparing that.
Septimus, you were looking at the mist.
Fog, yes.
Yes, the fog.
But-
I would like you to roll me an investigation or perception roll.
Okay.
Well, there isn't really that much going on there. The best you can really... It's quite unusually thick, and it's looking a bit odd. It doesn't look like any normal fog you've seen before, but maybe another kind of fog you've seen before. Anyway, it's not yeah, it is it's quite close. It seems to be all around. In fact, at this point it is kind of hard to see any trees in the distance where you knew that before there were some. The only thing you can see after some point is just white behind the fog. Another thing you notice as you gaze around is, oh, the carpentry around this place is different, you know?
Meaning?
Oh, it just has a
Design?
different...
Logo?
oh, it just had something different here on the walls. In fact, it is depicting a pattern of trees with a bunch of forest critters running around the place.
Does the art style of the decoration seem to be vastly different from the previous, which was basically people dancing?
Make me another investigation check.
Like, does it seem like it was drawn by the same person?
Make me another investigation check. It seems to be absolutely drawn by the same person, but once you are actually looking closer at it, it seems a lot less innocent than you first thought. Well, at first it looked like just, you know, a pattern of trees and a bunch of forest critters running about. Now that you look closer, you notice that from that tree there's a body hanging. And there's no forest critters, there's no cute animals, rather it is worms coming out from the earth trying to reach the body hanging from the tree. Over and over again on the wall.
Nice.
Septimus makes the disgusted face and, you know, relays this information to everyone. Can I look at the letter again?
The letter, which one?
The one that was sent by this Strad Gonzarovich character.
You should have it in the Discord.
No.
Yes.
Oh, this.
Yeah, the Discord
I
one.
think it's in the like actual Discord group, not this call.
Yes, exactly. It's in the Discord course of Strahd where I posted all of the different handouts, where you can go over them.
It's the top one.
The last one is the one which was written by Strahd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look over it again.
You do that.
Okay. Sometimes people have a secret code, basically. Sometimes if you take all the capital letters and you put them in a line, you can form a word or a sentence, a secret message or something. Or sometimes they write in the back page with lemon that only appears underneath a flame.
Uh-huh.
Something like that. Signs that there's more to this letter than meets the eye.
Roll me investigation if you're trying to see if there's any secret code or any such thing with the letter. Oh dear. As far as you can tell, the letter is what it is. It was intended to be read exactly as it is for whoever it was meant for. The only thing you can gather more than that is that it seems to have been scented before. The smell is very hard to discern at this point. It seems to have been quite a while ago, but you can tell that it was scented, like there has been put a scent on the letter.
Kind of scent.
You can't tell. It's too old. All you can tell is that there was purposefully put a scent on it before.
Yeah.
I will wet my finger, tap it on the paper, and lick it. Maybe it was poisoned once. And maybe
Would
there's
that be a
just
good idea if it was?
I mean, if it's that old, the scent has gone away. It's not poisonous.
It does not seem to be poison. In fact, you think it was probably some sort of flowery stuff or something.
Clearly, it's the new Strahd cologne. Buy it now.
Probably rose water. Seems like something a lord would do.
Alright. I relay this information to the group again, and I look at the mist again. Does it seem to be coming towards us? With a vengeance?
Absolutely. It seems to be creeping closer ever so slightly. Every time look at it again, you feel as if it has come closer. At first you think maybe it's paranoia, but then...
Mr. Barney keeps looking at it all the time. So
Oh yeah, no, you can absolutely tell. For you it's also the same, because it's not really at a speed where you can tell, yeah, no, it's definitely getting closer. But after a while, you are absolutely 100% certain that it is getting closer.
yeah, like I'm getting grasp on it, like that tree isn't covered by the fog yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting for it to be covered.
You should probably check out the rest of the house and not stay in here for like long, right?
I agree. We should go.
So you exit through the double doors again, and in front of
There's still the door to the left, right?
two doors that you have not opened yet. But before I do, in front of you there stands again a skeleton, very badly beat up at the end of the staircase. It looks at you, and before it can do anything, it just falls backwards and goes down the staircase as you hear a bunch of bones rattling as it goes and goes and goes.
I want the skeleton as a pet.
Septimus is going to laugh.
I kind of want to
How
skull
did-
him. He seems kind of cool.
You can say what you want about him. He was persistent.
You're
Anyway,
so constant.
in front of you, right in front of you, a little bit to your right, when you're coming out of the double doors, is one door you haven't opened yet. And then right straight at the end of the hallway, the other end that you haven't gone to yet, next to the closet, the broom closet, is another door you have not opened yet.
I guess we should do the door that's like right next to the double door. Because like it's right there.
Yeah, so who opens it?
I can open it.
Alright. As you open the door, immediately a stench fills your nostrils. You find yourself in what appears to be a bathroom that has not been properly taken care of in quite a long time.
For a moment, I thought you said a skeleton enters my nostrils.
No. It's just a horrible stench.
Is there anything in the bathroom?
Yes, there is a bathtub filled with rancid water. There appears to be a barrel with some sort of pipe system which has broken down, and basically now there's water all over the floor. Well, water damage anyway. It's not looking great. There's also a chamber pot, which let's not get into that.
Black
I'm just gonna slowly close the door.
Good call. You close the door.
Let's go to the last door. The one across.
As you close the door, you also notice a slight discoloration on the door in the shape of a V and a C.
V?
You know,
V and C? Like
Oh, W.
W,
Oh.
sorry.
oh
German pronunciation, my
Oh.
bad. Yeah.
I got really confused for a moment. Oh fuck.
It's the water closet.
So, the last door. What's up with that?
Yes.
Can we go
Okay.
there?
So you go along the hallway. Who goes first? Who goes last? Where's everyone at?
Someone who can take a few hits should probably enter it first.
Not necessarily.
As support,
It's a spirit for adventure.
and then someone in the end who can take a lot of hits.
I can volunteer to go first.
Alright,
Sounds good.
I'll be
This
behind
bound
the
doesn't
Septimus.
really seem to be that focused anymore right now, so.
Again,
So,
missed.
Septimus, as you open the door, you find yourself in another big room. Not as big as the master's bedroom that you were in before, but still quite a bit of free space. And this room is, well, a lot less fancier decorated, even though because of its size, there's a lot of space that just isn't used. There's a big double bed with some, bedside shelves, a commode, and a big people-sized mirror on one of the walls. Additionally, there is a chimney, and to your right, there's a door. And further on, there's a double door leading out to a bigger balcony.
Wait,
So wait,
The
these
bigger
would
bedroom
these
has a smaller balcony. The smaller bedroom has the bigger balcony.
Yes, it seems that this room has a bigger balcony.
Okay.
Which seems a bit odd when you think about it. The master's bedroom should be the place with the most, well,
Yeah. Can Zaban see the fog approaching?
well, as you walk to the balcony door, which, has glass in it so you can easily see through it, you see the fog. You see also the front side of the building where previously there was a gate, and so the gate seems to have been completely swallowed by the mist. You cannot even see past it anymore.
That is sick and moving fast.
we're inside, we should be fine.
that's probably what the townspeople thought.
So this is the last room that we've seen that we can go to, right?
This is the last room that you have not explored yet. And, there's one more door that you haven't gone through in this room as well.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. Could I maybe?
What are the others doing?
What were the specific things in the room again?
There is a big person-sized mirror. There's a chimney. There is a desk with a few writing utensils. Two people-sized bed with two bed drawers.
I wanna inspect the mirror first.
All right. What is everyone else doing, though? Before we
I'm
get
going
into
to the
that.
next door.
Right. You.
Looking out balcony doors.
All right. Septimus.
Whilst looking
I'm
up.
gonna follow Rika.
Right, so let's start with the mirror. Bats, as you inspect the mirror, roll me a investigation. Yeah, investigation.
Okay. 11.
That is the wrong roll.
Oh, fuck.
What are you trying to do? Intimidate your mirror image? Now listen here, buddy. You tell me everything you know about this place, all right?
Rolled even
Maybe
worse.
just taking a -3 the first one.
Anyway.
A slightly big F wasn't perception.
Anyway, you look at the mirror and it looks quite fancy. A lot more fancier than anything else in this room, as a matter of fact. This room not only has not a lot of stuff in it, the stuff that seems in here is just very bland and boring. quite differently from the master's bedroom, which we had before, where even the bedside drawer had some fancy wood craftsmanship in it. The stuff here is just, well, it seems more like what you would find in a commoner's place. However, the mirror is just fancy as heck. Everything around the mirror seems to be made with gold or some sort of gold overdoing. And as you look at the mirror itself, you do not see your own reflection in it. Not only do you not see your own reflection in it, instead you see somebody else's reflection in it.
Okay.
You see a woman in a white dress.
Break the mirror.
Kill it.
Burn it.
That's
Kill
a
it.
good
Kill
idea,
it.
you
Do it.
Guys, I think there's someone in here with us.
As goddamn, what's the name? Shit. As
Lana?
Blana. As Blana is pointing that out, you all go to them, and you see nothing. I mean, to you, it appears completely normal. She's standing in front of a mirror, and there's a reflection, and you also see your own reflection. There's nothing unusual going on there. However, for you, there definitely is something unusual going on there, because you cannot see your own image, you can't see their image, but you can see somebody else's image.
So...
It is also at this point that you notice that as you're talking, as is the woman in the mirror. She has black, long hair to her shoulders, a white dress, and additionally, now you notice that she's wearing some maid headwear.
Either there's someone like right over there, or there's a ghost in this room.
You have absolutely no idea what she is talking
I
about.
don't really know.
This is
What are you
tech-
talking about?
Yeah.
Wait,
Technically,
the-
technically out of character for rest of the party to think about since Saban is still in the window, but the hair colors of the parents and the kids, what were they?
Ooh.
What about the father and the mother?
Sorry?
The kids had black hair, but what about the father and mother? What was their hair color?
The father had dark blonde hair, and the mother had also dark hair.
Like dark black or dark blonde?
Yes, dark black.
Okay.
So makes it a bit more difficult, but
Yeah. Saban is not pointing this out. He's
more interestingly, for Blana, as the other two start paying attention to you, another change in the mirror image appears. Behind the woman in the mirror suddenly steps another woman, a woman that you recognize, Mrs. Dorst. She puts her hand on the woman's shoulder in the mirror image, and at that moment you also feel the warmth of a hand on your shoulder.
Lana would be like visibly shivering. To it seems like literally nothing.
Then,
What's wrong? Please explain what's going on in the mirror.
Give me a moment.
Mrs. Dorst raises a knife.
Oh god, she's about to be stabbed.
And she puts it into the back of the woman. And as she does, you also feel in your back something enter. Suddenly,
I think someone just stabbed me.
yes, absolutely. You take
I was gonna say dodge, but
You take 3 piercing damage, and everyone else you see as suddenly Blana jacks forward, blood coming from her back. 3 piercing damage.
I'm gonna try to hit whatever's done this. Like, just instincts.
Okay, you're trying to hit in the space where something would have been that perhaps could have caused this. And you hit the air. There's nothing there. There's
And
nothing.
I'm gonna convert my 2 sorcery points to spell slot. I'm gonna cure wound Brulana.
All right.
Only 3 damage. That's okay. Ow, ow,
It was
That
scarier
explains
than anything.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Insane.
Saban didn't see it, but he too like does a quick turn towards the mirror. Like, what?
As you try to heal the wound, you definitely do see a wound, what appears to be perhaps created by some sort of dagger or something of the like.
What's going on here?
Okay.
What
Okay.
happened?
So, in the mirror, I didn't see anybody's reflections.
As you say that, the mirror itself cracks.
I was about to say it laid down, but alright.
Okay.
Saban
So-
has his grip on the sword.
Okay.
Septimus raises his.
Is it making me feel any better? Okay.
What?
Okay.
What did you see?
So it was a woman who had some kind of like I think they were one of the maids from like the outfit at least, and then I saw like the head lady of the house like walking up behind her, and then she put like a hand on the person's shoulder, and then that's when I like felt it on my own, and like the shiver thing, and then she stabbed them, and then I felt like I got stabbed.
You did in fact get stabbed.
Yeah, I got stabbed. I don't know.
Septimus is going to pick Brylana up and get her basically out of the way of the mirror so she's not reflected in it anymore in case it
The
happens.
mirror who
again.
just broke.
The mirror,
It still can reflect you.
well, yeah, there's still a reflection in it, and as you look at the mirror, it's in the shards of the mirror, rather. It seems to appear to work as a normal mirror does right now. You can see your reflection once again.
So, the next room?
I think we.
What was the bed like in this room?
It's double-sized.
This room seems
Did we come across
important.
any room that's in its room?
Not yet, no. I mean, there was that other room, which you seem to be the servants' quarters, since that's where the uniforms was. It had 2 beds.
And had 2 beds, but it also had uniforms. So
Yeah.
if we had 2 beds or a bunk bed, that would have been quite a given. Which room seemed fancier?
Sorry, which room seemed fancier?
Which room seemed fancier? This one or the servants' quarters?
Absolutely this one. Although it is inherently cheap, the servants' quarters were completely cheap. The beds were made of hay. There was absolutely no expensive things in there. At least here, you have a lot of space. The bed seems to be made quite well. And the mirror, well, the mirror is quite fancy.
And they were young kids when we saw them, so maybe they shared a bed.
I think there must be something more with the mirror, right? At least anything over there, it seems a lot more fancy. That must mean it's somehow important.
As you look
Right.
at the mirror, you see, well, yourself looking back at you.
Can I
Okay.
try to move the mirror?
Oh, okay.
I can see
Um,
something, thank God.
Like slide it.
Okay. So as you pick, roll me an athletics.
Okay. it's
Bad
already
luck.
broken. It's already broken.
Well, it is already, it's not broken, rather it has sprung, really. It's not completely broken, it's still all in its angle. 1 is enough. So, as you grab the sides, you try to basically drag it to the side, but you notice immediately you can't. The mirror is bolted to the wall. As you try again with all your might, suddenly, the glass in the mirror falls apart and falls all down to the floor in front of you. Roll me a dexterity save to, avoid the
A
splitters.
shower of broken glass.
Yes.
How nice.
Just straight dexterity.
It's dexterity save. A saving throw.
Okay, which is above the
It's below
Skills.
proficiency bonus.
Above skills.
below proficiency bonus.
It's above skills.
Ah, okay.
Expression.
Absolutely. You managed to dodge. It doesn't seem to be like anything that was purposely trying to hurt you. They just sort of fall on the ground and you just try to avoid it. It's quite easy. But as all the shards fall to the ground behind the mirror, or rather through the mirror, there seems to be more. There seems to be a room. A small alcove, dustier than anything you've seen so far. Cobwebs lining the walls.
Is it completely dark? What can I smell coming?
It's
Did I
completely
get-
dark. As the base of the falls, all the shards fall to the ground. A puff of dust comes towards you, and oof.
Does Lana still have the torch I gave her in the last session?
Probably. She might have dropped it after
I mean,
being stabbed.
Oof. Okay.
Well, it's a torch, so it shouldn't go out if it drops on the floor right there.
Suddenly there's a fire in the room. Kidding.
Yeah, I think somebody should pick it up if it is on the floor.
There's still one other room here that you haven't explored, aside from the secret room that Septimus has found.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check the other room.
All right. So you open
Hey,
the
no,
door.
I'm going in first. I found it.
No.
Fine.
He's talking about the other room
Ah, okay.
that haven't explored yet. You just found a secret room about secrets to be secretive. Anyway, he
The secret room.
yes, he opens the door and you find yourself in a quite small room. The only thing inside is in the middle of the room there seems to be a small cradle. Is that what you call it? The things that a young baby is in.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes, that. And in the cradle seems to be a small baby wrapped in a black cloth. Or rather, well, you assume. You don't actually see the baby. You see what is baby sized wrapped in a black cloth.
Is there any candles in here?
No, nothing.
Can I see any movement coming underneath the cloth? Wait.
Roll. Yes?
Wait, hold on, I got confused. Are we in the same room right now?
No.
Depends if you're still
Okay.
with the mirror.
It depends that you go with him or.
No.
Okay. In that case, you're all by
Sorry, I
yourself
got
right now.
confused.
Mr. Bond would ask Rika the moment he hears the door, he'd ask, like, do you need help?
Just a sec.
It is the same color of cloth that you saw Mr. Durst holding the baby.
Yeah.
Just a sec.
On a painting
I'm gonna
that seems to
take
be
out a
many
torch.
years old.
And I'm gonna light it. Even though I have dark vision, take out a
Gotta be
torch.
safe.
Yes.
I'm gonna light it, and I'm gonna hold it into the room to see what's up.
There seems to be some cobwebs in the corners of the room, but other than that, there doesn't seem to be much more revealed. Another thing is that to your left, there's a window leading out to the balcony,
All right.
from which you can once again see the mist, which makes you a little uneasy.
I'm gonna check the bundle in the crib.
All right. So you take the bundle.
No, I don't take it. I check it.
How do you check it?
I touch it and maybe try to roll it. See if there's anything dangerous.
Okay. So you reach out to the bundle and you give it a little bit of a tap.
No, I put my hand on it. Maybe move my hand slightly. I don't push it. I don't. I just-
Right. Well, then give me a description of what you do if you don't want me to say it.
I reach out my hand.
Before you do that, am I still by the balcony door? Did we
Yes.
come?
Sorry?
Am I still by the balcony doors, or did Rika ask me to come when I asked if she needs me?
She hasn't said anything so far.
No, I
Yeah.
just said, just give me a moment.
Okay, yeah. So Saban is by the balcony doors, looking at the fog and the roof.
So, what do you do, Rika? Tell
I
me.
reached out and put my hand on the bundle.
All right. Your hand is now on the bundle.
I'm gonna move it back and forth slightly.
All right. The bundle is moving back and forth gently.
Alright. Is there anything going on with the bundle? It can, like, does it seem to be face down or something?
You can't. No, it seems to be just very well wrapped.
So can I see a face?
No, you cannot.
Can I roll it over?
You mean roll it open
Over, like, you know.
to the other
it's
side?
like this, then
Yeah, you can gently turn it so it's now lying on the other side, but you see nothing different. Still
turn
no.
it back.
Okay.
I'm gonna slowly unwrap it.
How are you unwrapping it?
I mean, I have my torch.
Are you rolling unwrapping it? So like it's. How are you doing this?
I'm gonna see if I can get, like, out the cloth and begin.
You also keep in mind you're doing this one with one hand. So how are you? How are you doing this?
Well, I'm just gonna, if there's, like, anywhere cloth is, like, on top of each other, I'm gonna see if I can grab onto it, see if I can pull it, like.
So wait, you're gonna grab along one part of the cloth and it's gonna go blade blades.
No, no! Like, you know, slowly, carefully.
So just you know, just so you know, if there is a baby in there, you're gonna turn it several times around as you unwrap it.
No! God's sake.
As in, like, hold the thing still and like turn like the thing around. The cloth
Okay,
around the
okay,
mouth.
okay. I'm just gonna say, you know what you're doing. Okay, so you slowly uncloth the bundle, and as you put it once around, you are first. It's the first time where you can actually see inside the bundle, and inside the bundle you see a bunch of spiders that suddenly shriek open and crawl away out of the bundle, all over your hands. And just as that happens, what remains in the cradle is a piece of cloth, and spiders that quickly hurry away, but that is all. And as you stand there, suddenly a corporeal form forms from below the ground and rises open. What you see is the ghost of a woman with a white flowing dress, long black hair going over her face, her features a little distorted as she's screaming, "My baby!" and seems to be quite focused on you right now. What are you doing?
We all hear this?
Yes, you all hear the screech. You all hear it.
Well then.
She is staring daggers at you. What do you do?
I'm gonna slowly back away.
Okay.
Like hands forward, showing I'm not a threat. Fuck this shit, I'm not. Yeah.
As you reach the door, you just go.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Were you able to tell if it looked made or?
Well, he hasn't seen the maid.
And neither has Saban. So
Anyway, so you do that. You slowly disapproach, go behind the door, close the door, and the weird thing is the ghost seems to be letting you do that. In fact, as you go away, as you're closing the door, you see her switching her attention from you to the black cloth, picking it up, wrapping it again, and then gently weighing it like that before putting it back into a cradle. And as you close the door, that is all.
What was that scream?
So there's a ghost here.
I kind of already knew that.
Yeah, but you know, like an actual haunting.
What did it look like? Also, I'm pretty sure me getting stabbed was kind of a haunting, but I guess it's not.
White long flowing dress, black hair, you know.
Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the main things how you could describe the woman in the mirror you saw. The one that got stabbed. AKA
have
you, kind of, like.
Yeah. I have a feeling, that was the person I saw get stabbed. Is this some sort of like, I mean, what was in that room?
So there was a crib with a bundle of cloth. And you know, I was curious. So I began opening the cloth. There was a whole lot of spiders in there. That wasn't very nice.
Was this like a nursery or something?
Yes. Very
Okay.
much so.
Okay.
When I unwrapped the cloth, the spiders came out, and there was nothing in there. The ghost appeared, and you know, you probably heard it. And yeah, I just kind of walked out, and she just kind of wrapped the cloth up again and put it back in the crib.
I guess they weren't hostile.
Nope.
I mean, you're pretty sure that she probably would have attacked you if you had reacted very different. She seemed pissed at you in that moment. Like, she was gonna murder you if you hadn't pissed off.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone was touching my baby, probably murder him too. Like, so, should we just like leave them alone, or?
I think that's the best idea in this case.
Okay.
I mean, unless we want to get the bundle of cloth back to the kids. Who are also dead.
Wasn't it filled with? Wait, what?
I mean, they did say their brother was on the top floor.
Yeah, but how are they? How are they also? I mean, I guess they're probably also ghosts.
Yeah, probably more like an apparition.
Yeah, probably. Septimus, you found the secret passage through the mirror?
Septimus is kind of poking his head out into the hallway, you know, in a what happened here kind of way, and says, "Yeah, are you alright, both of you?"
Oh yeah, I just got the death stare from a ghost. Yeah.
In the meanwhile, Septimus, you explored the secret room, right?
Yeah, as soon as he makes sure that, you know, everyone is alright,
Well,
including Saban,
you didn't.
Very quiet. He's gonna go inside.
What you find is, first of all, a lot of dust and a lot of cobwebs. This place doesn't seem to have been accessed in, well, even longer than any of the other places you've been in this house in. You literally have to tear away the cobwebs if you want to push any further. And there seems to be a staircase leading upwards.
Can I see anything else? Maybe a window, maybe a table, maybe...
No windows. Complete blackness. Not even any tapestry on the walls. This is a completely blank room. This is completely how you would describe a secret passage. Completely bland, completely old, and no windows. The walls are dirty, dusty, and lined with cobwebs. The only thing in this room is a staircase leading upwards. No windows, no sign of light coming from anywhere.
Well, he's gonna draw out his sword, get his shield ready, and call out. I found a stairwell leading upwards. From
Do
this...
they have an attic?
And there is another floor we haven't explored.
Isn't this the last one?
Nope. There was 4 floors up. Well, there was
Wasn't
the
the
ground floor, first floor, second floor. We're currently on the second floor, and there was, you know, a third floor, which there wasn't a staircase to. Except now there is.
That's weird.
Cult stuff.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess we should probably go up there, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we probably should.
So, are you guys heading up?
Yeah, I guess we
Septimus
should.
says as soon as he sees that people are following.
Septimus is leading.
I was halfway up the stairs.
Excellent.
Yeah, like at least, you know, a few steps up.
Let's use this spot.
Siobhan also follows them after taking one last glance. Oh,
Excellent.
How close is it now?
Oh, it is getting consistently closer. At this point, it is licking the sides of the balcony. You cannot even see the ground, the floor, the ground outside anymore.
A large cloud of smoke and follow.
Anyway, let's use this spot right here for a small break.
Yeah.